All right, let's just jump right in. There's this fear, right? It's so common, it's almost a running joke, but it makes zero logical sense. For so many of us, it's our number one fear, and every single time it hits, it feels incredibly real, like deep in your bones real.
I mean, really, stop and think about that for a second. Why on earth would standing in front of a few colleagues trigger more panic than an actual physical threat? Now, you've probably been told your whole life to just be more confident, or that weird one, picture them in their underwear. But the truth is, the reason goes so much deeper than that. It's ancient.
And that is the whole game right there. The moment you step up to speak, you're not in a modern conference room. Nope, you are on a stage that your ancient brain is hardwired to see as a place of extreme danger. So to really master the room, we first have to understand why our own biology sees it as a battlefield.
Okay, so let's get into that fear. When you step up to that podium, all those physical things you feel, they are not just in your head. Oh no, they are very, very real, and believe it or not, they're happening for a reason.
This isn't a sign that you're weak or that you're unprepared. Not at all. This is your body's fight or flight response kicking into overdrive. These are ancient survival tools, designed for a world of predators that, doesn't really exist anymore. But your brain is still running on that old software. So what is it that's actually flipping this deep biological panic switch? Well, to get that, we have to rewind the clock, way, way back. We've got to understand what it actually meant to be the center of attention for our earliest ancestors.
You see, for early humans, being stared at by a large group usually meant one of two things was about to happen. Either you were being judged by the tribe, maybe right before they kicked you out, or you were being hunted by a pack of predators. And let's be honest, neither one of those situations ends well. Your brain inherited that ancient alarm bell.
And this little guy is the culprit. A small, almond-shaped part of your brain called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's ancient security guard, and its only job is to scan for threats. The problem? It can't tell the difference between a pack of wolves and a board of directors. To the amygdala, a threat is a threat. And this phrase just nails it, doesn't it? Your logical brain, it knows you're just giving a quarterly update. But your amygdala, it perceives this, a literal wall of eyes staring right at you, just like a predator. This is the source of all that anxiety. It's a biological mismatch for our modern world. But here is the really good news. You do not have to be a victim of this ancient instinct. Not at all. Once you understand how the system works, you can start to work with it instead of against it. So let's shift gears. Let's move from just understanding the fear to learning the strategies that let you master the room.
Now, the first hurdle isn't just your own fear, it's your audience's complete and utter distraction. We live in what they call an attention economy. Their brains, just like yours, are built to save energy by filtering out anything that seems like noise. And sadly, most presentations are nothing but noise.
Okay, so yeah, 65% of people are visual learners. That's interesting. But the real kicker here, the mind-blowing part, is that everyone's brain processes images about 60,000 times faster than it processes text. So if your slides are just a wall of words, you're fighting a neurological battle you are guaranteed to lose.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It's night and day, right? On the left, you've got your typical, boring, text-heavy slide. Your audience's brain sees that and immediately checks out. It's just noise. But on the right, you have a single, powerful image. That's a signal. I love this phrase, visual nutrition. You're giving their brain the high-energy food it's craving, which makes your point hit home instantly and actually stick.
So, you've grabbed their attention with a great visual. Awesome. But attention is super fleeting. How do you make sure your message actually sinks in? Well, that's where a really simple but incredibly powerful technique called the echo protocol comes into play. This is a pretty tough pill to swallow, but it's true. We all operate in what some experts call a wicked learning environment, where feedback is slow and, honestly, retention is shockingly bad. That 90% number means if you just say something once, it's almost guaranteed to be gone by the time your audience gets back to their desk. Poof.
This old-school structure is your absolute best weapon against forgetting. It's not just about being repetitive for the sake of it. It's a brilliant memory encoding technique. By creating 3 separate save points in their memory, you make it almost impossible for their brains to just toss the information. First, you give them a map of where you're going. Then, you take them on the journey. And finally, you remind them of the destination you all arrived at together.
All right, you've got their attention, and you've got a structure to make your message memorable. Now for what might be the most important piece of the puzzle, your delivery. This is how you transform that scary wall of eyes from a threat into a group of allies.
So many of us get this backwards. We think we need to sound like an authority figure. Stiff, super formal, and absolutely perfect. But all that really does is create this status gap. Our ancient brains are actually programmed to distrust a leader who seems too perfect, too polished. Compare that to the relatable peer, someone who's authentic, enthusiastic, maybe even a little vulnerable. That's who we trust. That's who we'll actually listen to.
So how do you actually become that peer? Well, first, just be you. Your audience has a built-in phoniness detector. Second, bring the energy. Enthusiasm is literally contagious. And third, and this is the secret weapon, use something called the vulnerability lead. Start with a quick story about a time you failed or a moment you were totally confused. This triggers something called mirror neurons in their brains, and it instantly tears down that wall and builds a bridge of trust.
Now look, all of these techniques are great, but they mean nothing without a foundation of real confidence. And that confidence doesn't just magically appear because you thought about your presentation. It's built through effective, even biological practice.
Let's totally reframe what practice even means. It is not about memorizing words on a page. It's about desensitizing your nervous system. It's about giving your body a workout, not just your mind, so that it can perform under the exact kind of stress it's going to face on that primal stage.
So how you practice is everything. Don't just sit at your desk and mumble your notes. Get up, stand up, use your hands, use your body. Practice in a room that's a little uncomfortable to simulate the real thing. Know your slides inside and out so you never have to turn your back on the audience. And, most importantly, practice in front of a few friendly faces. This actually trains your amygdala, teaching it through direct experience that a wall of eyes is not a sign of danger.
This is it. This is the ultimate mindset shift you need to make. Your goal is not to give a flawless performance. Your goal is to be useful to the people in that room. When you focus everything on giving them something valuable, the entire dynamic just flips. The fear of being judged is replaced by a mission to help them.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. The primal stage doesn't have to be your enemy. By understanding your own biology, by anchoring their attention, by structuring your message to stick, and by showing up as your true, authentic self, you transform the entire experience. You turn what feels like a place of judgment into what it was always meant to be, a powerful moment of human connection.